Thank you, everybody, for coming. For those who don't know, my name is Rich Berg. I'm the Assistant Athletic Director for Football Communications here at Temple University. Want to welcome everybody here in the room that braved the weather. Want to welcome everybody that's at home watching this on ESPN+. What I'd like to do is give you a quick run of show, and then we'll get started. I'll introduce our Director of Athletics, Arthur Johnson. Arthur will then introduce our new women's soccer coach, and then we will take some questions. Then we'll have a photo op, and then we'll conclude this. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Vice President, Temple University, and Director of Athletics, Arthur Johnson.
Hey, thank you, Rich, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are trying to stay warm and staying safe with this weather. But as we get started today, I want to give a special shout out and a special recognition to Gemma Wollenschlager, who is, was just named today to the 2024 USA Paralympic team. She's a junior rower, student athlete here at Temple. From St. Augustine, Florida, and it's an incredible honor where she will represent us and represent Temple in the Olympic Games. So let's give Gemma a hand. All right, now thank you for joining us for this introduction and to welcome Coach Chris Shaw as our new head women's soccer coach. At the start, I want to start by thanking really a couple of people who really stepped up last year and during this transition. Our assistant coaches, Michelle Jacquet and Paul Stinson, they stepped up last year during a really difficult time for our program. When our head coach was in a terrible accident, they had to step in and lead us. They also led us after the season, and they've led us through this transition. So I want to say thank you to them and give them a round of applause, and I really appreciated their professionalism and the way that they stepped in and kept us going to get us through the end of the season and also taking care of our student athletes. So Michelle and Paul, thank you. Now, to our soccer student athletes, some of who are here today, thank you for your patience during this transition. I know it's not easy when we make change. You have a coach who's responsible for bringing you here. It's a lot of uncertainty. And I know that in today's environment, you have the option to transfer. You can go into the portal. Thank you for staying loyal to Temple during this time and staying committed to us. I also applaud you on the great job you continued to do in the classroom last semester. You did an incredible job going through those despite the season and despite having transition at the end as you were dealing with finals. So thank you. Let's give them a hand. To our search committee, led by Christy Bannon and Derek Horn, thank you for your commitment and your time for vetting candidates and leading us through this process, getting some great candidates to campus and giving us some options. Right now, for the committee members who are in here, please stand. I want to say thank you. Again, they did a great job vetting candidates. How do we get here today? Coach Chris Shaw's name popped up late. He actually applied late in the process, so I was having a discussion with Christy, and during that discussion, his name came up, like we all do. We quickly Googled him, and I'm reading his bio, and then his previous boss has been a friend of mine. Chris King, the AD at Robert Morris, has been a friend of mine for over 25 years. So I picked up the phone and called Chris, and I just said, Chris, he said, you're calling me for one or two reasons. I won't mention the other one. And then he said, you're interested in one of my coaches. I said, yeah, I'm interested in talking to one of your coaches. And he could not have been nicer. And the compliments that he paid his coach, he said, man, I do not want to lose him. But if you want to talk to him, you can certainly talk to him. I appreciate you calling. And he just talked about the contributions that he had made at Robert Morris. He had been a great staff member with the other coaches, had done a great job on the pitch, had done a great job developing our student athletes, a great job recruiting. Like I said, he couldn't say enough about him. And he was also, he probably told me too much. He said, yeah, I got a 3-year contract sitting in front of him that I've been waiting on him to sign. So I said, okay, so you wanted to keep him? He said, absolutely. But he was great. As I studied him more and read more about him, I made a couple other phone calls that he's not aware of some people that I know, and his track record of turning programs around. He's been a head coach at 4 different places at different levels, NAIA, D2, D3. He's lived on the East Coast. He's lived on the West Coast. He had a very successful run at UNLV where they won their conference and went to the NCAA tournament. And he has just had success. He's a 2-time Conference Coach of the Year. He had student athletes who graduated, student athletes who were all conference, student athletes who were all academic conference. So it fit. So I had Christy find a number for me. I called him. We missed each other a couple of times. I was actually in Hawaii. And so he sent me a text to remind me that I was supposed to call him. I was like, well, I was trying to wait. But it was, we had a really good visit. And then he said, well, I can come see you after the start of the year. I said, no, I got a team that's waiting and they want to coach. I need you to come before the new year. And I want to thank him and him and Tina for changing their plans. And they met us and they came up to Philadelphia. So Christy, thank you for changing your plans over the holiday as well. So they came to campus. We had a great dinner, a great visit, hearing more about his philosophy, hearing more about his background, his history, his background as a student athlete, and some of his accomplishments there, his thought processes and what he was looking for. And then the next day, we watched our women's basketball game. So he came over, interviewed on campus, walked around campus, spent some time with people, and then came over, and we had a great visit. I felt really good about him. But without further ado, I know you're here to hear from him. But Chris, thank you for taking on this opportunity to come here and build a winner at Temple in our women's soccer program. So let's give a warm welcome to Coach Shaw.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I was trying to figure out how to start this. I think my first day on the job was our day of service, and so I had the opportunity to paint a mural with the team. And all I want to say is, if you guys are as good at soccer as you are at painting, then the future is bright. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the field. I really wanted to start with a story. I was talking to my mother last night and talking to her about the press conference, and I called them and was giving them kind of the rundown of what was going on. The band was going to be here. There's going to be the team was going to be here, a lot of staff. And my mom said to me, "Why are they doing all this? You're just the women's soccer coach." And I said, "Thank you, Mom, for keeping me humble and grounded." So, but she is a big fan of mine. Both my parents are huge fans and very supportive. And so I think she was just surprised by the amount of support that this program gets. So, but on a serious note, I do want to say how excited I am for this opportunity. to lead and to revitalize the women's soccer program here. It's not an undertaking that I take lightly, but I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I'd like to thank Arthur Johnson and Christy Bannon and the rest of the search committee for giving me this opportunity. Again, I cannot express how excited I am about this, about to be in the great city of Philadelphia and to be at Temple, which has such a great reputation. And so I do appreciate you guys bringing me into the nest. So, I was very impressed by Arthur's vision and by the resources and the support that's here, and I do think that with those resources and support that this program can be competitive within the AAC, and that is the goal. I also look forward to working with the current group of student athletes, as you guys are the foundation upon which the success of this program is going to be built. So, and lastly, I'd just like to finish by saying, go Owls.
All right. Go out. All right. That's a little tight on you, but it'll. There you go.
We'll take some questions if there are any questions. Davis?
Thank you. Yeah, so good question. Definitely, first and foremost for me is integrity. So we want to lead I want to lead the program with integrity. We want the players to have integrity. Everything we do is going to be upfront and honest, and so I think that's super important. The other one is loyalty. So I'm going to be loyal to my players. I want those players to be loyal to their teammates. And then the last one is going to be commitment, right? So we want these players and myself to be committed to our goal, right, which is winning soccer games, and then most importantly, graduating and developing good people. So,
Ben, you have a question?
Coach, just wanted to ask, what do you see, or what do you envision as success in your program, on the field?
yeah, on the field, we want to win more games than we lose, right? So that to me is success on the field. But also, how we do that is super important. So we want to play what I think is soccer the right way, which is an attractive possession style, and not just trying to win games without having like I said, a style and a purpose to how we and why we play. So on the field success is, like I said, winning, and off the field is obviously developing these individuals to be great people and to go on and do great things after they graduate from Temple.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you, everybody. Maybe we could have some of your players come up, take some pictures with you behind in front of the backdrop.